Hello, everyone. We meet again. My name is Miss Joanne Nanjakko, and I'm a teacher by profession. I've been teaching for the last 16 years, and I teach children or teenagers who are over 16 to 19. If you don't mind, I'm going to stand up. As a teacher, I'm used to standing up. Sitting down is not my thing. So my background is social work, but today I'm here as a teacher and as a parent. It's very good that kids are out, so I want us to talk. I want you to talk to me as a parent, and I want you to talk to me as a teacher, because I am your voice. Like I said, I've been teaching for over 16 years, so trust me, name it, I've seen it. I am a parent, so I wear different hats, but I'm not here as a social worker, so don't feel scared to get things off your chest. I am the teacher and I am the parent. Does that make sense? Okay, so we are going to talk about different things. We are going to talk about how you parents can work with us as teachers to make sure that we support your children, to make sure that the children are successful, because we all know the challenges we face in raising children. So I want you to tell me how we can work together. Then we shall look at when children turn 18 and they finish school, what are the options? Does everyone have to go to university? Exactly, thank you very much. We're going to talk about things like that. Then after that, what are the different options? If someone doesn't go to university, what else can they do? Can they find a job? What else is there for them to do? Then we shall have a session which we'll call Get It Off Your Chest. In other words, ask Miss Joanne. I'm all yours. Okay, so if you don't feel comfortable asking a question, we shall give you a piece of paper where you can write your question, and then I will try my best to answer it. You don't have to put your name, but just write the question, and then we'll answer it. Okay, thank you. So, if you look here on the board, it says, education is a team effort between parents, students, and teachers. Yes. We all have one main person here, and that is the student. On one side is you as a parent. In the middle here is your child, yeah? And on the other side is the teacher. How can we work together to make sure that that child is successful? I'm going to bounce it back to you as parents. How can you work with us as teachers to make sure that your child is successful? Sorry? Do we have another microphone? Sorry.
So I would say communicate with the teachers.
Communicate with the teachers. Very good, very good. How? How can we communicate with the teachers?
Yeah. There are some emails that the teachers always send parents. We should always respond. Sometimes they are too busy to respond.
Oh yeah,
and positively, not always supporting our sons.
Thank you very much. The key word there is we are too busy. Very, very busy, aren't we? But guess what? You cannot be very busy for your child. Because as teachers, we know parents are always working. The school sends out emails. I mean, yesterday I was checking my student email, the email for my children's school. And they said, oh, mommy, there's parents evening next Wednesday. I was like, what? Why didn't you tell me? And they said, oh, but they sent an email. I checked the emails. There's about 55 emails. I was like, oh, man, Joanne. Check the emails. Let's check those emails. Because the teacher can't call you, they know you're at work, but when they send an email, check it out and then deal with it. Thank you. How else can we work with the teachers?
Creating a friendly environment and an approachable one.
Thank you. You know what? We teachers are human beings. Don't be scared of us. And like I said, we are also parents. We need to stop this culture of people thinking, oh, no, we tell our children, don't trust the teachers, don't tell them anything about home. But guess what? They will say, yeah, yes, that's what the parents say. Yes, I understand where you're coming from. There needs to be a bit of confidentiality there, but sometimes we need to know what's going on. Get to know your child's teacher. Like I said, I've been teaching for over 16 years, but I can tell you the first thing I do is when I see parents coming into school for parents' evening, I want to know, you're Lucy's mom. you're Alan's dad. I know you by your child, not Mr. So-and-so. Does that make sense? Because when I say Alan's father, I'm taking an interest in Alan, not you as Mr. Businje. Does that make sense? So get to know your child's teachers. Build a relationship with them. Okay? Any other ways? Thank you. Very nice one there.
Hi. Hi. I'd like to just sort of point something out that I've heard quite a bit about in the past.
Yeah.
And that is when parents do talk to not a number of teachers, but it is a few. Teachers can be very know best.
Okay.
And they talk in a way that the mother doesn't know anything or doesn't know what they're doing.
That's very rude of them, isn't it?
It is very rude, but it's a fact and it has happened. And then, you know, if mothers or parents do speak out, there is a fear that, you know, it can get out of hand and they can be threatened if the parents don't comply.
Yeah.
It goes too broad and then they can get on social services hands. Their children can be taken away. They can be given drugs against their will and so on and so on. And that's the sort of far end of the fear factor.
Oh, okay.
So I think there has to be some kind of way that if a parent is going to work with teachers, they have to know that they have the trust of the teacher not to go further than, you know, putting the parent in fear of, you know, losing their child or being told that they don't know and I know best what's right for your child or something like that. Okay. And I have seen this happen too many times. I've experienced this with, you know, parents that I've worked with. Okay. So I just think it needs to be said.
Yeah.
It's not, I know teachers are wonderful and there are, you know, they care about their children on the other side, many of them, but there is a small sector that think like that. And I think that has to be in the equation added so parents can feel safe.
Exactly.
That they're not going to lose their child or be targeted in some way.
Yeah, thank you very much. That's a very valid point there. But like I said earlier on, you know, your child could be taught by, let's say, like 5 different teachers. They have a science teacher, there's a math teacher, there's a drama teacher, there's, you know, there's a tutor, there's so many teachers. But you need to find that one teacher who you think, you know, when you listen to your child, they'll always be saying, oh, Miss Joanne said this, or Miss Nanjakko said this. So take note of that, Miss Nanjakko. It means your child is comfortable speaking with Miss Nanjakko. Does that make sense? So you liaise with Miss Nanjakko and then build a relationship with them. Because if your child trusts the teacher, then that means that the teacher knows about your child. But I appreciate what you said. I mean, like any other job, there's always some bad apples, isn't it? There's always going to be people who spoil the profession. But hey, it's a tough job. But I have a passion for teaching. People say to me, oh, how have you been teaching for all these years, teenagers? Because like I said to my students when I meet them in future, my first question is, oh, hello, Lucy, so what are you doing now? And then, oh, I'm a social worker. Oh, I'm like, yeah. Does that make sense? So please work with us. Any other ways we can work together with parents?
I think I'll take advantage as I come to you. Yeah. I think there's also need for us to look at the backgrounds of some of our parents, because the children who are involved in life crime come from very vulnerable, poverty-stricken backgrounds, that even parents' literacy levels are very low. There's capacity building lacking in the parents themselves, that they need to be supported, understand their children's schoolwork, or even reading emails and responding. Social worker has written all this information down and I'm completely, you know, I just barely get English to get me around, you know? Yeah. We need to go down to dissect this problem from where it starts.
Thank you. Any other ideas? Yes, Madam Juliet.
Yes, part of it, the Madam has said it. But for me, I think from my experience working with young people, as parents, including myself, I'm not excluding myself, I think there is some element of denial as well. And if we are going to work together in partnership, and I experienced this a lot of times, where parents are in denial. And you've mentioned something about illiteracy and not understanding. I think as parents, we need to be very sort of open and honest. If we really want to see our children go further in education, if you don't really understand something, then, communicate that with the teachers. That is partnership. And also in terms of children do pick on our weaknesses and they play on them. Because if they understand that, oh, my mom won't understand, my dad won't understand my homework and the emails, the teachers, because some parents don't just ignore the emails, but they don't just understand them. And I think that is where we have to be as parents. You can say to the teachers, look, you send all the emails, but I don't really understand. I can't read them. I can't really understand what you mean. And teachers I've worked with parents in that category where we have even to have interpreters, whether we have to invite a friend who can, explain to them. But there is denial. I don't want to look like I'm illiterate. I don't want to look like I don't understand. So that is something.
Okay, thank you very much. Before you continue, can I say something about Madame Juliet said about denial? That brings me to my next point, which we called special education needs. Has anyone ever heard of that? SEN, or additional learning support. When you look at my fingers here, are they all the same size? No, they're not. You know why they're not? Because we are all different.
Is me, the parent, I don't understand these things. That's where we are saying the parent is lacking in literacy themselves to even understand the need of that child.
If you make an appointment and come and see me and say, I received this email, why are you taking my child after class to go and see another teacher? I'll explain it to you. If you have an older child at home, ask them. Because usually some of these children have siblings. Oh, I received this email from school, but I don't understand. What are they trying to say? What do they mean? Because guess what? If you're in denial and that child doesn't get support, it affects their performance. And I don't know if you know, but when it comes to exams like GCSEs, not all children sit the same exam. Did anyone know that? They don't all sit the same exam. There may be an exam for the, the low ability, for the middle ability. We call it foundation, intermediate, higher tier, and things like that. So please, reach out to us. You know your child better than I do. And they're able to get extra time. Does that make sense? Okay, thank you very much. Yes, sorry. Okay. Yes, Mama.
Hello.
Oh, are you? Nice to meet you.
Good afternoon. My name is Evelyn Kundishora. I live in Worthing. I'm a mother of 3. One of them is just here. I'm about to change him. But I thought, let me first talk before I change him. I have 12 years of experience in teaching high school. My subject is maths. But I'm currently ahead of year as well. And my year is year 9, so if you deal with year groups, you know year 9 is there at the peak. So they are the most difficult year group you can deal with. Now, one of the things I'm going to talk about as a parent, and I'm speaking as a parent, the conversations we have at home are key. When we sit on our dining tables and we are talking, I might be talking to my husband, or I might be talking with my friends who are visiting. Children pick up a lot from those conversations. Now, your question was very, very good to the police guys around. You were asking, where is this coming from? And that was quite a key. Where is this coming from? Our children are carrying a huge chip on their shoulders of the insecurities and injustices that have happened to us as a result of the conversations we are having at home. So I sit down and talk about how I was stopped and searched. I've been lucky that hasn't happened to me before, but people have experienced, whether that's work, a lot of discrimination. And unfortunately, we are rubbing that off down to our children who are not experiencing that. I can tell you that. Not all the time are they experiencing that at home, but through our eyes, they think they are being discriminated against. And as a result, they are carrying knives because they need to protect themselves. As a result, they are not listening to teachers, unless you're a black woman like myself, and then you lay into them, and then they know, okay, I'm listening because she's a black woman.
Oh, yeah.
So it is important that conversations we are having are building our children and not destroying them, because that's what is happening at the moment. I'm currently dealing with a young man who's 15 years old, and as far as they're concerned, the whole world is against them. Because of the color of their skin. And funny enough, this is a mixed race child. So you would think they belong somewhere, yeah, in two worlds, but they feel like the whole world is coming down, crumbling on them because of the color of their skin. No, it's not like that. Otherwise, I wouldn't be in the job I'm doing for 12 years. So I think it's important that we separate the two. It's important. All the topics, all the points you've talked about are very important. Having an open conversation, an open dialogue with a school, whether you understand or not. Being part of the school community. How? We are so busy. We are so busy doing shift work that we are not joining the PTA. Why aren't we joining the PTAs at school? Why aren't we having our voices heard? Why aren't we joining the school in the work they are doing to build up our children? So I'm leaving that with us as I pop outside, but there we go.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you.
There's another question here.
I'll go back to her.
Okay, thank you.
After this side.
Okay, thank
Thanks
you.
very much. My name
Yeah.
is Rogers. I've been working with the teenagers for over 7 years, especially age from 12 to 16. And my experience, I deal more with the social worker like you and the police on a daily basis. But one thing we need to know as parents, what I've discovered, is not to make promises to our kids. I know we love them so much, but making a promise, especially when it comes to disclosures. These kids, if the kid makes a disclosure, you have to be straight with them and tell them that I'm not going to keep a secret, because these disclosures may be a safeguarding, you know? And when you keep it to yourself, you may be endangering the person or someone else. So our kids need to know that when it's especially disclosure, when it is safeguarding.
Yeah.
From day one, if it says, I'm going to tell you something, but I want you, they come, Mommy, oh, Daddy, I've got something to say, but I want you to promise not tell anyone. Be straight.
Okay.
I don't keep secrets.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you. Yeah, any other questions, please? I think we've taken it back to the floor, so let's hear other questions. I like the dialogue.
All right, this is not actually a question, but I just wanted to give something that I'm doing personally right now with some of my colleagues. First of all, Joanna, the speech was lovely. Thank you for what you're doing. It's really important.
Thank you. Yeah.
I'm actually in Ireland, and I'm working with all sorts of different migrants and refugees that are coming into Ireland. And I work out of the Church of Scientology National Affairs Office. And what we are doing basically is we're educating the migrants in English, because one of the things that they have not got is the English language. And their children who are either living in Ireland or born in Ireland are having difficulty with identity issues, as they will be here. We've introduced for them a program which teaches them English by teaching them all the small common words of the English language. Now, this may sound strange, but what's happening is migrant people don't know and use the small common words and have difficulty in the language, in adopting the language, and this we find in children a lot. And when they don't know the words and feel they can't talk the talk, then they feel worthless, and then they start going out and doing things. So this program, what we're implementing, is, a huge success with the black communities and African communities in Ireland, including the Ukrainians and the Russians and. So if anybody's interested in this, it gives the kids a feeling of worth, because you'll find, thank you, you'll find sort of when they start getting into trouble is when they don't feel good about themselves. But if they feel that they can be educated and that they can communicate freely and safely, then they will start to communicate. And that goes for the parents too, because a lot of the parents come to us and say they don't, they feel bad or worthless because they cannot communicate. So we're each actually handling the adult parents of the, who are illiterate with the same program. And it's a beautiful program. It teaches them conceptually, and it gives them a huge volume of words, which is, what they need. And then they can pull the sentences together, basically. And they start feeling that this is one of the best ways that they can handle their children, their families, and be in the community safely and know where they want and what they want to do. Okay? So if anybody's interested in knowing a bit more about that, I can give them more information after the talk.
Thank you very much. Because we are short of time, I'm going to go on to post-18 options. Your child has been through primary school, they've done their secondary school, they've gone to college. They've got those very good grades. Then what next? What next after 18? Let's take a minute and think. You could have a child who is 16, but guess what? As a parent, you already have an idea of what you want your child to do, don't you? Yeah? Yeah, you're thinking, we need a doctor in the family and it's going to be you. Yeah? We need a lawyer in the family. I always wanted to be a lawyer, so my child is going to be a lawyer. Is that what the child wants to do? Oh, they're back. Oh, gosh. How am I going to talk about them when they're here? They're back. Yes, they're back. Okay, so what I'm trying to say is, after 18, the child is in a safe place. They've got their A-level qualifications. They can use those qualifications to do anything. Sometimes, like I said, I have a passion for teaching, and I have a passion of working with parents, especially parents of color. Yeah? And usually parents spot me when they come for parents evening. They're like, oh yeah, your name looks, yeah, where are you from? I'm like, yeah, it doesn't matter. How can I help? All of us here, as African parents mainly, we want our children to go to university, don't we? Yeah. But guess what? I can stand here and tell you, we have a very high rate of university dropouts. Black children drop out of university more than their counterparts. We need to ask ourselves, why? Why do you think that happens? Anyone knows why do you think they drop out of university, first year, second year? Yes, please. Talk to me. Say it louder. A very valid point there.
I said they think they have all the knowledge to themselves. And they don't feel like being in school, don't feel like school is useful to them and all stuff.
Okay, possibly. Any other reasons?
My name is Sowedi. I'm not a social worker, but I work in a MASH hub.
Okay.
I'm a housing professional. So my experience of working with the children at school is the few that I've interacted with is when they get to university, they discover that what they were asked to do by the parents is not what they wanted to do.
Thank you very much. Thank you. What they were asked to do by the parents, not what they wanted to do. Because as parents, we all have an idea what we want our child to be, isn't it? Yeah, we want to go to church and say, oh, this is my child. Oh, yeah, this is my son. He's doing a master's in law. But is that what the child wants to do? Let's listen to our children. I'll speak. Can I tell you something? Can I share a story? Confidentiality is key, yeah? Are you sure? Okay. My oldest child is 18. And she did her A-levels last year. She was a straight A student. She did 4 A-levels and she got triple A and a B. From a very young age, we thought, oh yeah, she's going to be a doctor. So we were grooming her. She did all the right work experience. You know when you're a teacher and you're like thinking, yeah, well done, yeah? Guess what? When she turned 16 or 17, she changed her mind. I said, oh, so you need to do work experience in Queen Mary's Hospital, then you need to go here. And she said, yeah, Mommy, I'll do the work experience, but I don't want to be a doctor anymore. I said, what do you mean? But you've always wanted to be a doctor. She said, Mommy, I went on placement. I saw someone die right in front of me. I don't think I can deal with that. I was like, it's all right. You get over it. You know, it's part of the job. Okay, can we try pharmacy? She said, I can't even take drugs myself. I can't take my medication. I struggle to take medication. How am I going to be asking people to take medication? I spoke to a friend of mine. He's standing at the back. I said, what am I going to do? Do you know what he said to me? Joanne, it's now time for you to listen. You're always telling other people to listen. What does the child want? I had to grit my teeth and say, yeah. Okay, what do you want? You know what? I let her do what she wants to do. You know what she said to me? If you want to be a doctor, Mommy, you can still go back and study medicine. Yeah. You want to be a doctor? You need a doctor in the family? Go study the medicine. You know our kids sometimes. I was like, are you talking to me like that? But hey, it is what it is. Does that make sense? Let's listen to our children. By the way, let me say something. Right now, apprenticeships. I don't know if you've heard about apprenticeships. They are in vogue. They are the thing to do. Because guess what? When I go to university or when a young lead, can you come here? What's your name? Aviana. Nice to meet you, Aviana. How old are you? 7. Okay, 12 years from now, Aviana will be 19. If Aviana goes to university, right now, a child who goes to university, a teenager, they leave university with a debt of about 50,000 pounds. But guess what? If Aviana decides to do an apprenticeship, which is a traineeship, they don't have to pay that amount of money because the government is going to be supporting them in gaining that qualification. Have you heard of apprenticeships, parents? Let's encourage our children to do apprenticeships. If your child, thank you very much, Aviana. Oh, I like your jacket. Can I borrow it? Yeah. And the shoes, oh yeah, she's matching. So if your child says they want to take a gap year, yeah, we usually get scared, don't we? What do you mean you want to take a gap year? No, you either leave my house or you go find a job. You have to go to university. All your siblings went to uni. Sometimes they need a break. Can I be honest? When I was 18 or 19, if someone said I was going to be a teacher, I'll be like, who, me? No, I gave teachers hell. I was that child who was like the backbencher, always like, hey, passing notes around. If they said I was going to be a teacher, I'd be like, no way. But guess what? Here I am, 15 years and counting. Yeah. If they want to go into employment, maybe earn some money, give them a chance. Let them learn. Sometimes they need to earn that money. Remember, they've been in education since they are 4, 5. They get tired. So please, let's listen to the children. Okay? Any questions, parents? Let's now ask Miss Joanne. Let's get it off our chest. Any questions for me, please? Yeah.
Can I just add one little bit to the apprenticeship? In addition to all the advantages of not having a big debt, the student will be earning for 3 to 4 years. They might be earning anywhere between 20 to 30,000 a year.
Ooh, that's good money, isn't it?
As well as gaining experience. So at the end of the 3 or 4 years, this student has 3 years or 4 years experience, whereas the student who went the traditional university route has 0 experience. He might have done maybe internship, but they are not comparing. So when you go to the job market, they'll be asking you, you have the degree, yes, but how much experience have you got? Who is going to get this job, do you think?
Okay, thank you very much. Yeah.
Yeah. Just to add on also on apprenticeships, because that's my area as well. I work with those young people that are not sure what they are gaining. And in my experience for 10 years working in that sort of sector, I've found out the success, the statistics of young people that are actually come out successful are people that have gone through apprenticeships. I'm not advertising, but because when you think about, just like Miss Joanne said, I mean, myself, I'm one of the victims where my dad is like, oh, I want you to do finance and banking or lawyer and whatever. And I did. I came here, I did finance and banking. I got a good job in Berkeley. But it wasn't me. It wasn't aligning with my personality. It wasn't. So I left it and I went back to uni and I did what I wanted to do. And I've been in that job for over 10 years. So it's really, and I think it's the culture as well.
Yeah.
Like, oh, Africans, we don't do those courses. Oh, you can't just go and do. How would they look at me? Oh, you know. So we need to really come out, because just like marriage, you know, you're not going to be doing that job for your child. The career, you're not going to carry it for him or her. If you're forcing that child to be in that career, you're kind of setting them to fail. So apprenticeships, well, saving money, but at the same time, experience.
Thank you very much. Can I add on to that, please? Actually, if you go home and do some bit of background check, you'll find that most of the millionaires we have in England, they don't even have degrees. They don't. Sir Richard Branson, Sir Alan Sugar. Who else is the other one, Maureen? You know these people. they don't even have degrees. Does that make sense? So, like I said, let's promote apprenticeships. Like Juliet said, we are not here to advertise them. But as a teacher, I'm tired of, one thing I said to my students is, you'll always be my student for life. Even when you leave college, I keep in touch. When I meet you, oh, Beatrice, what are you doing? Does that make sense? So, and I'm tired of hearing learners say, oh, miss, I dropped out because of A, B, C, D, and all that kind of thing. So let's go home, learn about apprenticeships. If you have a young person, think about it, sit down with them. What do you want to do? Okay? So let's watch this video about apprenticeships quickly. And then, yeah. Sorry, Maureen. Sorry. Yeah.
Can I just say something about apprenticeship before you play that thing? Yeah. I've had parents come to me asking me about apprenticeships. I've tried to contact organizations or companies that I think they have advertised apprenticeships they can take on. But truth be told, it's very, very competitive. Very, very competitive as we speak right now. I've got a child that has been waiting to get into accounting and finance, and it's been very, very competitive in the jobs that we do. When they advertise something, to be honest, it has become a boys' club. Someone knows somebody to get them in.
Yeah,
you get it.
Yeah, it's all about contacts.
You don't unless you give us a leeway that we can jump on the thing. But parents have not just chosen to leave it, but it's something that's being competitive now. Yeah. Because everyone knows it's the deal.
Okay, thank you very much. There's a website, I'll provide Maureen with a website. I think it's called apprenticeships.uk, and it lists all the different apprenticeships in different fields. So if you look at that website, you'll be able to see what are the different apprenticeships in different areas and things like that. Okay? So can you play that video for us, please?
Before you play the video, just a quick one, talking about... Sorry, talking about apprenticeships. I don't know whether we've got... Birthright mentors here, because when Soweidi said that sometimes it's difficult to apply, we've got mentors who can support you and help you apply for that. So Mr. Kalanzi over there maybe will give us a brief on mentorship. Does it coincide with this?
Yes, it does. Yes,
Should we see this? Watch this first?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm also a mentor for Birthright, so I'm everywhere. Okay, thank you. One last thing before, I'm sorry to eat up your time. I'm sorry, Madam Maureen. One last thing I want to talk about is, as parents here, some of you may have children abroad that you want to bring for a family reunion to come and join you. What age do you think is the best to bring a child from abroad to fit into the education system here? Because that's very important. Does anyone know the best age to bring your child from abroad? Anyone have an idea? Under 10? Okay. Possibly. Thank you. The best age is possibly before they complete GCSEs or as soon as they've completed GCSEs. Because government statutory education here stops at 19. So, and for your child to go to university, they should have been in the country for 3 years to qualify for government funding. Does that make sense? So when they do their GCSEs, which is their senior 4, we call it senior 4, bring them over. Does that make sense? Our overseas qualifications are equivalent. When they come in, what we do is we do a qualification check, and we're like, okay, this is equivalent to this, this is equivalent to this. Now, if your child is doing GCSEs abroad, tell them to focus mainly on English and maths. Because we don't care if they have, an Esther in drama, or they can sing on top of their voice, and they can act and dance chimbe or whatever it is. I want to see the qualification for English and maths. Does that make sense? Because those are the qualifications or the subjects you need in the field of work. So when your child is abroad doing their GCSEs, you may have to give them a tutor to make sure they pass those subjects. Because if they come to England and they haven't passed English and maths, we're going to put them a step back, a year back, for them to do those qualifications again. Just like you as an adult here, if you want to go to university, we're going to make you do English and maths again. Does that make sense? So bring the children when they are 16 or literally above 15, then they can do their A-levels here, sail through the system 3 years, and then go to university. Don't wait until they're 18, because they're going to be the oldest in class, and they'll feel frustrated. Does that make sense? Yeah? Okay. Any other questions, parents?
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Teacher Joanne.
I could talk forever.
I know.
Teachers
I
talk,
think-
don't we? Okay, thank you very much. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
We could probably arrange an online session with you again so that parents can ask, because I'm sure there's so many questions out there. But because of time and people are probably hungry, and we've got 2 more speakers,
Okay.
but we'll definitely arrange an online session with you, Teacher Joanne.
Thank you
Is
very
that
much.
what they call you, Teacher
Yes,
Joanne?
Teacher Miss Joanne. Yeah. Now, maybe one thing I didn't say when I was introducing myself is I'm a Buganda official. I'm a Mwami wa Kabaka. Do you know what that means? Yes. I'm part of the officials for Buganda, UK. Yeah, Buganda Kingdom in UK. And my department is I manage careers, education, and health. Now, in July, we are organizing a careers fair. But guess what? This time I'm doing things different. I want a careers fair for us as adults. It's going to be online. Because guess what? One thing I've realized is so many people here, if I was to ask everyone here the qualifications they have, you may find that you have people in here in the audience who have PhDs, masters, but they don't even know what to do with them. We may have people who want to go back in education, but they don't know where to start. Does that make sense? So we're going to do a careers fair. Yeah, so it's going to be on the 6th of September. We're going to do an online careers fair. And we should be inviting lots of speakers who can give you advice of how you can go into, police, plumbing, engineering, building works. Does that make sense? So that we can, better ourselves. Does that make sense? So I will share the link with Maureen, and she will, she will share the information.
Thank you, Teacher Joanne. Thank you. That was great.